So I'm back on, and I just realized I feel like I'm so confusing that in my mind I said it's going to be at 6, but then I saw that I had published it somewhere else at 7:30 because I want to make 7:30 the weekly time, but it's a holiday, so I thought let's do it 6. So anyway, I'm going to start now and then do a second part at 7:30 in case people have missed or they're scheduled for 7:30 or something. Okay, so I hope you had a happy new year. So my new year happened. Basically, I had done the last broadcast here, and I had taken Theraflu, so I realized I don't never take any medicines for those kinds of things. So I got a little, I guess, dizzy or something, and I went to lay down, and then the next thing I know, I woke up. It's 3:30 a.m. That was my New Year's. I slept like really early. I went to bed so early and so funny. It was pathetic. So anyway, so today I wanted to talk about Russia and Putin. So it's such a complex subject, and I've never really done a reading on him. Christy says yes, it's like so fun, so exciting, so fun. But in New York, it's like I think it was 10 degrees Fahrenheit, so cold. I went out earlier to run errands, and it was too cold, and I thought, you know what, I didn't miss anything. It's okay. So anyway, so going back to the topic, which is Russia and Putin. So I don't know why exactly I have never done a reading on him. It's funny. Maybe I avoid because I hate him so, like I hate the whole thing that he created, that I never want to focus on Putin. So I think to get started, I'll just do a basic reading, like what the hell is going on with Vladimir Putin? Okay, what's going on with him? What's up? Because there's elections in Russia coming up in 2018, and of course, I guess they prevented the main candidate, the person who was a threat to him. They prevented him from running, so it looks like he'll just stay in power. But let's just have a look at what's going on with him in general, and then we can look at what how he feels about Trump. And I mean, we know everybody, like he's such a pathetic clown. And even Putin, as much as he's done all these horrible things, I know he understands. He knows that Trump is just some clown that he's using for his ends. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to find out what's going on with Putin, because I wonder. I look at pictures of him, and I'm no specialist in plastic surgery, but he looks like he's got some, I don't know what you call those things that you put in your cheeks, inserts, fillers, or something like that. I feel like he has fillers. He does like plastic surgery. He looks kind of creepy. Implants, something like, I feel like he's like not like an alien, but he's sort of looking like an alien lately or something. He's a very, very extremely intelligent person. I just want to know what's going on with him, because I feel like a lot of dictators, they are paranoid because poison people and stuff like that. So it just towards the end, it just gets kind of crazy. So, so yeah, Christine. Yeah. So it is like, I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of wondering how long let's think about what's going on with Putin in 2018. It's a good thing, because I honestly wonder if there's going to be some sort of plot against him, like the internal Russian people are going to try to like kill him or something, or I don't know. I wonder what's going to happen. So let's see what's going to happen with him in 2018, where he's going to be at the end of 2018. And then there's the questions about Russia and again, his relationship with Trump, like how his whole thing with the American election is going to affect the future of Russia. But basically, let's look at him now. I'm like shuffling for hours, shuffling. What's going on with Vladdy Pete? 2018. Vladdy Pete. And in a way, and I feel like it's kind of sad that this whole separation and destruction thing is going on, because who knows? I feel like in a way, even though he's apparently steals a lot of money from the Russians, At least he's not selling his country to anybody who shows up, unlike some people that we know. Okay. So anyway, okay. So what's going on with Vlad P? Vlad P 2018. What's going on with Vlad P? Vlad P. Vlad P. Vlad P. Vlad P. Beep the tape. I'm gonna show you. Beep the tape. Can you imagine if he like? I honestly wish that like there was like some channel they decide to publish the PP tapes, and I wish that. What's going on with Vlad P? Vlad P. Vlad P. 2018. Vlad P. Okay, all right. Time to show the goods. All right. Okay. So Vlad P. Ooh. It's already like the card at the center is the Emperor. So he's doing fine. He's like, I'm fine, bitches. Whatever. Got some money problemos. Money problems. What is it? 99 problems and the bitch ain't one. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see what up. What up? What up? Huh. Okay, so this right at the center, it's like there. This is the center. That's him, the Emperor, and the card of health and the growth. So the core question, no, and I wonder, since I have just asked that, I wonder if that could have something to do with his health. Let's look further a little bit here, but there's nothing indicating, the cards are actually really good. There's nothing indicating death or, well, there's some negative cards, but nothing really dramatic. So, okay. So basically, I see here on the left, I feel like there's going to be problems for him. Here's the house. I assume it's the White House. The tantrumy person in the White House. This is a card of the past connections that are in the clouds, or problems related to past connections in the White House. And everything he's worked for very hard ends up creating a really for him. So the lack of clarity regarding his role in the White House creates very long-term problems for him. That's the beginning. Okay, so, and here I love the clouds card in relationship to how I organize these two types of cards, because if you think of the cloud literally, if you really think of it as a picture, so the cloud shields whatever it's on top of, right? So what is it hiding? It's hiding the past connection to the White House person. Okay, so it's going to create more problems for him. Okay, now his position is interesting. Okay, so his position, and then at the center, you have him. Like I said, he's the Emperor, and his health or his longevity. Okay, and this is an interesting card because I remember when I first did the prison research about cards that have to do with prison. This was the card about prison, and this is a card of government, law, and enterprise. Okay, so this could also mean that the legal issues related to the Magnitsky Act, and you probably know the Magnitsky Act is the law that went into effect, that I think it was Obama who put into effect, that limits the ability for the Russian oligarchs to use money outside of Russia. Okay. And this is Queen of Pentacles upside down. So some issues related to money. Okay. So in a way, this could be the government, okay, or the law. I don't know that it's related to, because the question was about him, right? Though not necessarily inside Russia, but it could be that there's threats to his longevity because illegal threats to his longevity lead to an opportunity probably for a new person. Trump, because this card sometimes shows Trump. I think this is just an opportunity for a new person or a new beginning. But let's see here. And then there's something interesting. So it's pretty actually a lot more interesting than I think. Because in the last column you have, this is the card of conflict, and upside down is conflict sort of after the fact, is divisions and factions, and the gift card, okay? And then you have money, something very financial, a person here, could be him. And this, I always see this card as a country, as a family, as like a healthy country, moving on to better things. So I honestly wonder if either he, okay. It's interesting because I don't see, I feel like there's a lot of threats for him and challenges, a lot of problems. But I think I don't see him dying. I don't see him being cut, but there's a new person here. There's an indication that they're here. If we look at the present, like this row here, we have the shady relationships in the past, and this affects his growth and his health through a person. And there's the growth of a new person, I think. Okay, so I think it's showing that ultimately his involvement in the election and his connection to Trump is actually creating a lot more problems for him than what he anticipated. And here, this combination of the card that relates to prison and the card that's about the government and the laws indicates that what's on his mind here is upside down. Bad news about the White House. Okay, or emotional, say emotional blackmail, but something negative regarding to the White House. And then legal problems as a result of the White House and factions. Now, if I look at this too, I almost wonder, because this is a gift and an offer. So legal problems, issues as a consequence of the White House or his meddling with the White House brings a gift, or either he gives or he gives a gift, offers a gift. So it's unclear to me in a way. You know what I'm really thinking when I look at these cards? It's a very weird thing. What I'm thinking is that from his perspective, he sees the problem that he's in, and the problem that he's in, if the governments in the world succeed in limiting his resources, his access to money that he put elsewhere, then it's the biggest problem of all. So when I'm thinking, I honestly wonder if this position here means that he might, and I'll talk more about a few readings I've done that may confirm this, that I almost feel like he might want to bring Trump down this is a gift, right? So he's seeing that the more he's associated with Trump and the meddling of the election, the further down he's going. And then I feel like it's in his best interest. And I feel like it's almost like if I try to, I'm like closing my eyes and trying to see things from his perspective. It's like he's a chess player and he sees things from a very detached perspective. Okay, almost like he doesn't get involved as it's almost like we're humans get very involved, we care, but he sees it almost like a calculator, like an addition game. And his accumulation of money has to do with his interest in winning, interest in power. So he has a gift, which is his ability to look at things from a very detached perspective. And I think what he sees, if he looks at the game of the world in the chess board, he sees that it's making him lose. So he needs to move from this position quickly. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking, that ultimately it's possible that he may change his course, if anything, to remove himself from this position where he's becoming a pariah. And I think a lot of countries all over the world, from Germany to, I don't know, everywhere, right? They understand the threat of Russia in the sense that they don't want another Trump in their midst, right? So I feel like people are being much more aggressive towards Russia as a result of the aggression that he has. It's almost like he was a bit too aggressive. Okay. So this is the opportunity here, opportunity for a gift from a man leads to better changes in a country, okay, to positive changes somewhere in a country. Now, because there's no real there's no card of death or removal. And I know from the news that this guy, Alexei Navalny, I think his name is, I guess they were able to prevent him from running. I don't think that's him. I feel like this may sound like a very strange thing to say, but I feel like ultimately he may contribute to the removal of Trump when he sees that there's no way around, there's no way out of it, that it's not going to get better for him, and that the coup they're all involved in is not going to work. I think he is going to give something. Okay. Because the interesting thing here is that the changes are positive changes for a country. And I've seen this before as America, as a country, as a home. It's a card of home. Okay. So of course I'm projecting here, since I'm the reader and the perspective is mine, is not about Russia. There's many interpretations, and I'm thinking another possibility here is that of course I'm seeing this first read as my own perspective, but another possibility here, if I look at this is sort of further down the future. If I look at this here, what could mean, and again, I don't see cards of him leaving, so I don't know exactly what this means, but it could also be that he appoints another person, that he sees that maybe it's time for him to go. He gives a gift he appoints another person or something like that allows for a transition in Russia. Okay, because if I look at the bottom line here, which is the mountain, the child, and the positive transition, it's showing that his hard work that he was so focused on only led to long-term hardships. And the issues with money brought through the new person may lead to positive changes for the country, both probably for Russia and for the US too. Okay, so what I think he realizes is that the consequences of supporting Trump and pushing for the election problem may bring the inevitable, which is change. Like change is probably Russian in his own government or something like that. Okay, so that's where we are with Putin. Okay, so that was the first. Now, let me okay, let me think about here. I feel like I want to know about his government inside of Russia. Like we asked, I feel like this one question showed him overall, okay, on an open-ended level. What's going to happen? I don't know if I should ask. What's happening to the Russian elections in 2018, or is he? I feel like is he going to? Oh, I know the question I want to ask. So, what will be the consequences for Russia in 2018 as a result of them meddling in the American elections? Because, oh, hello, we know it's completely undeniable. I don't care what anybody says. It's obvious that they've done some things. Some things, we don't know the extent of that yet. So it would be interesting to know if they will suffer consequences of that. We don't know what's going to happen to the Trump government. Hopefully it won't be here by the end of the year. But it'd be interesting to know if they will succeed in reshaping the world the way they, right? Because I feel like they're pushing right now for the whole thing with Iran and in Saudi Arabia. They're empowering Saudi Arabia to sort of like to muscle around other nations. I don't know a lot about Middle Eastern politics, but the sudden empowering of Saudi Arabia is not good for a lot of other nations there. So they're pushing it to create instability, but that's very dangerous. So I'd like to know, generally speaking, what will happen to the position of Russia in the world as a result of them meddling in the American elections, as well as in other countries in the world. Once Trump took power, they became much more radical, okay, and they're pushing really hard. So what's going to happen to their position in the world this year as a result of all those things? Okay, all right. Okay, now let's shuffle the other one. So what's going to happen to Russia's position in the world as a result of them meddling in the USA elections, as well as their overall extreme aggression recently? Okay, so what's going to happen to Russia's position in the world, status and position in the world? What's going to happen to them by the end of 2018 as a result of them meddling in the USA elections, as well as being extremely aggressive in the world? Because it seems that one obvious outcome would be that countries get together and decide to be more aggressive with them, push them back, okay? Because, okay. All right. Let's take center. Ah ha ha ha. Tower, tower, oh, heart, tower. Okay, so it's interesting because at the center we have the Chariot, which is about winning and the power of the will and secret. And when I've said this before, about readings that I do. I use, of course, I use the tarot cards, but they're not as important as the cards on top, the Lenormands. The tarot gives the color, but the Lenormands gives the facts. It's kind of like how I see it. Okay, so secret hopes, secret ambitions. Okay, so it looks like they're pushing forward with their secret ambitions and goals for the world, but there's judgment against them. So there's a bit of a pause, I would think, just by looking at these two sets of cards. There's a little bit of a pause to their ambitions to take over the world, because there's a legal, probably some sort of legal judgment against them. Okay. And okay, so then starting from the very beginning, you have this star upside down, which is interesting that it reverberates, it plays with the card in the center, which is about their hopes and their goals. So their dream of positive change or improving their status is not doing as well as they hoped. Have the Queen of Cups upside down. So there's a lot of volatility related to the White House. So moving, it's like they thought their influence in the White House would create a positive, like, improvement in their status. Okay. Now we have the Tower upside down. And I've said before, I've seen the Tower as upside down as wanting to create chaos. So laws or documents, written communication related to creating this chaos, and money, hidden money. Okay, so right here we could see that I think there's more that's going to come out about their strategy, okay, about turning the world upside down, and their hidden relationships in the White House. So strategy about moving on, acquiring more status in the world and turning the world upside down. And the fact that it's covert, okay, but it's going to come out more. And this covert relationship with the White House is going to come out more, okay? Now, and guys, I'm noticing that my voice is starting to go lower. Just drinking more water because it's anyway. So okay, so that's interesting. Now, if I look at towards the future, it looks like this is the last battle card, and the fox. The fox means things behind the scenes. So they're going to continue to push behind the scenes to create a fox, basically new values, kind of like shady values behind the scenes. They really want to create this change, but I don't think they will be stopped. And it's interesting because the last card here on the side is the bear, which is, as you guys know, the symbol for Russia, but I think here means the boss. So, and this is like there's going to be a disappointment for them. They're going to want to move on from this, and there's talk. Okay, so this is someone said once, this is a card of Twitter, a card of talk, chit chat, blah 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 blah, repetitive conversation. So they spread their values through this talk, and their power, because this is ultimately a card of being the boss and the card of power. Their power is still really quite covert, and they have this sort of like a aggression that's visible, okay? But I don't think that, okay, just go back here looking. I don't think they really go as far as they want to go, because I feel like this year from what the cards show, we're going to find out more about how their covert operations work, okay? Because we have here, just looking at the Lenormands on top, we have operations behind the scenes is how they get power. And then spreading their values through talk, but I think in this case means the bots, okay, and electronic communications in that way. So I feel like they are going to suffer consequences from how the world learns more and more about their how do you say it? A, their role in the Trump election, and then B, their strategy, because it's impossible to not, the more we find out about how the whole Trump government worked, the more we understand how they made it happen. Because I think it's very fair to say that Trump would not have happened without Russia. He's the receptacle for their ideas, I think, right? So that's that. So it's showing that basically we're going to find out a lot more about their strategy, their methods, and they're going to acquire electronic communications. There could be more hacking, that could be more, they're more of a push, but I don't see it. I don't see them as, it's almost like, if you think of a disease, and I'm thinking of my own cold now, I still have some cold. The cold didn't go away. It's like, was sort of like operating in a stealthy manner. I wasn't aware of how strong it was. And that's kind of how I feel about Russia. It's not going to go away. Suddenly, they're going to have to pay a price for everything they've done, but they're going to keep on going. Okay, and get what they wanted, but they're not going away either. Okay, they're not, because you see here cards of disappointment. Okay, they want to move away. I just don't see them. I don't see them attaining the official power they wanted, but I see them becoming more and more of a rogue nation, in the sense that they become much more aggressive with their like hacking and their, I don't know, their methods, I guess, even when they don't have the power they wanted. And I feel like they pushed to be recognized as a superpower, but what's happening is that they're recognized as a rogue power rather than as a superpower. Okay, so that's what I think ultimately for the Russia position in the world. Okay. All right. So I think I'm gonna do just one more here about Russia, and then I'm gonna come back at 7:30. Yeah, because I still want to do more North Korea and that's that. Okay, but let's look at I'm thinking of the longevity of Putin. Okay, I want to do 2000. Let's look at his longevity in the Russian government, or in general, for the next 5, 10, and 15 years. Well, I think let's look at Vladimir Putin's longevity. Okay, in the I don't think I can really ask the question how long. That seems kind of, it's very complicated. I don't feel comfortable with that. But I'm thinking, will he be in government in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and what's going to happen? Oh, maybe this is a better question. What's going to happen to Vladimir Putin's role in the Russian government in the next 5 years, 10 years and 15 years. So basically it will also show the transition of government in Russia. So 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years, okay? So there's going to be 333. Vladimir Putin's role in the Russian government in the next 5 years, 15 years, 10 years, and 15 years. Okay, so that sounds clear, because they'll give us a kind of a look at what's happening, what's going to happen to Russia overall, regardless of him, but with him as well. So what's Vladimir Putin's role in the Russian government in the next 5, 10, and 15 years? Because if he succeeds in preventing, because it sounds like, I don't know how long he's been in the government for, like 17 years, I think. I don't know how much longer he'll be able to get away with it, but let's see what happens to him in the next 5, 10, and 15 years. 5, 10, and 15 years. 5, 10, 15 years. Vladimir Putin, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 15. And it's funny because I'm getting this image. I'm getting, so weird. Like, now I'm getting goosebumps. And I get an image of a man, of him in a throne. And it's him as a king. And he knows he's been poisoned. So funny. He knows he's in the early stages of poisoning. And he is plotting his, in a weird way, I see him plotting the future for the country, for his country, without him, but in a way that's almost benevolent. It sounds like such a weird thing to say, but I do see him as like, okay, I'm not going to be around. What should I leave behind? Like, what? I don't know. It's like a weird, but I feel like it's almost like the feeling I'm getting. This is before the cards. It's that he knows he's doomed. He knows he doesn't really have much of a future. But let's see here what it shows. Okay. So, all right. So one thing, guys, I just did, I don't do this. Sometimes I do some creative things, I guess. I don't talk about it. But so there are 9 positions for this one reading. And the Lenormand has 36 cards. So I thought, you know what? I have this question about him. Is he going to die? What's going to happen to him? So what I did was, like, I pulled out from the remaining cards. I organized them into the 3 little mounts that correspond to 5, 10, or 15 years to see where the coffin card would fall. And so I stopped when the coffin card fell. So interestingly enough, both the coffin card and the scythe fell, not next to each other or anything, but this is for the 5 years. So we have the scythe and we have the coffin. So I feel like in the next 5 years, he's either going to die or leave the government, okay, the Russian government. So that seems pretty certain, okay. All right. So, okay. And because, like I said, I'm not good at, like, telling the time. It's very complicated. I think I don't know how to do it really, or I don't think it's reliable to do the whole time thing. But if you separate the reading into sections related to time, then you can read it better. I think that's much better than saying, I'm going to calculate when this is happening. But if you say 5, 10, or 15 years, then that's that. Okay, so here you have, I feel like what it's saying here is that this is now in the next 5 years is his role in the Russian government. So it's like aggression, okay? Brings him to the government, and he's happy to be a fox. He's happy to be a person who does deals behind the scenes. So he gets the house by being a fox and turning his own, this is, like I said before, a card of a country, but in this case is upside down. So he does these like secret deals, secret things happening behind the scenes, keep him in power, okay? And turn his own country upside down. But like I said, because I pull the extra cards, they say that I don't think he lasts beyond 5 years. I'm not saying, it's hard to tell. I guess I would have to do another reading in the next, like separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to see when he leaves. But definitely, I think he leaves in the next, let's say, what was the order? Probably 3 years, because that's what the scythe came in the third thing, and then he dies probably a little bit after, like 3 years after. So I feel like in the next 3 years, he leaves the Russian government. Okay, all right. So then 10 years, his role in the Russian government. I feel like because of the question that I asked was his role, because it's all, keep in mind what the real question. So the question here, it's like a steady man is an opportunity, and bad news for him. So a gift, an opportunity, an invitation for a new person. Somebody, this was upside down. So I think somebody who's not a friend of his, or like maybe he had a relationship with this person and it didn't work out quite as well. It could be that somebody is under him, or somebody that he may have approved of before. So there's an opportunity to invite somebody who is going to bring positive change, who may not be friends with him anymore, or with whom he may have had a bad relationship, is likely to take over. Okay. And then here it's showing moving on. The government finally, I think in 15 years, will be rid of the influence of his influence in the government. And there's going to be a serious push for elections, fair elections here. Okay, elections for the government. But there's going to be a lot of money problems there. Okay, long-term problems. So in a way, either the elections, I don't think the elections create hardcore long-term problems, but I think the elections will happen as a result of people realizing that ultimately Putin or whoever was before him, or I'm sorry, after him, there's just too many financial problems in the country, and there's a need for change. And so the election happened because of that. Okay. But like I said, in 15 years, I think. And if anything, this part of the reading about Putin in Russia and his influence in the Russian government, I think basically in the next 5 years, he's influential for the next 5 years. After that, there's somebody who might have been in one of his proteges at some point takes over. Okay. He doesn't like it. He's not happy about it, but the person brings positive changes for Russia. But I don't think the next person is elected in a completely democratic manner, although in 15 years that's going to happen. And And that's that. And it's likely, I think he went, okay, 3 years. So 2000, 2021, that's when I think he leaves the Russian government. And then 2024, probably when he passes away. I don't know. I'm just obviously, like I said, I'm not a prophet or anything, and just speculation based on, the cards and what I've seen here. Okay. So that's that. And so guys, I'm going to take a little break now because I want to come back at 7:30 and do North Korea. Okay. And that's that. Okay. So that was pretty interesting, I thought, about the 3 little readings about Putin and Russia's position in the world. And so when we come back, I will do. One thing I want to ask is the relationship between North Korea and Russia, because I believe Russia is really supporting North Korea and pushing their efforts behind the scenes. But let's find out. So I just want to I'm going to do North Korea 7:30 and Russia and North Korea together, and Russia's role in North Korea. And someone had asked about North Korea war with the U.S., but let's find out. So 7:30, I'll be back to focus on North Korea. Okay? All right. All right. So I'll be back, guys. Now I can see my voice. I'm gonna drink some tea and some lemon or something, and then I'll come back to address North Korea. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye. I'm gonna end, and then we start at 7:30.